What's up? It's Shrimp Zoo and Addy Ads. We're back streaming together. What's up,
folks?
Twitter, YouTube, neighborhood, news studio audience, Shrimp Zoo audience, pandemic podcast audience, and newcomers.
Yes, sir.
I thought we would talk about all the new autonomous zones popping up.
Let's do it.
This is a new Twitter camp that's popped up in Seattle. If you're familiar with the former Chaz, this is at the exact same spot. Yeah, that's it. There's garbage everywhere. There's fences put up. So they're going to defend this land.
Where else have these popped up, Shrimp?
Portland, Seattle. I mean, those are only two temporary places, but they might pop up elsewhere, though, from now on. What do you think about it?
I think these people are communists, first off. And, I mean, Portland, Seattle, I'm not too surprised about, those new... Are they calling them all Chaz, or how's that working? With the naming? Just new Chaz stations? I don't even know. Oh, looks like Shrimp popped out for a second there, but yeah, I mean, I think it ties into the homelessness problem we have in this country. And there's a great YouTuber, The Invisible Project, I think he goes by, where he interviews homeless people, which I find quite interesting. Definitely makes you grateful for having what you have. But again, this autonomous zone is definitely a radical idea, no doubt. And it was certainly, when it was created earlier this year, it was a loud chaos, right? So if I think Seattle PD could have stepped in at any point and ended that. But that being said, it's, I think, a part of the greater plan to divide, really, to divide us is allowing these sorts of autonomous zones, starting with what I would argue is our communist capital, Pacific Northwest of Seattle in particular, but also I think more so Portland as well.
Yeah, what do you think of this picture? I don't know if you could see it good enough. This is the autonomous zone in Portland. They have like metal railroad stakes piled up. Another one, they have like glass bottles with screwdrivers in them. They have different rubble piles of like glass and rocks and metal and like random stuff like that, all behind these little barricades that they have piled up to throw at the police in case they come.
Yeah, I mean, this is just absurd. I mean, if you're looking at an actual military situation such as this, if it were to go to an actual military situation, it would just, it's like cardboard boxes. Like,
have you seen the videos where they've chased the police out of the autonomous zone several times now?
Yeah, I did see that. They were like spraying bear spray at the police cars.
Yeah, destroyed their cars and stuff, pretty much smashed the windows out. They gave them flat tires. They're throwing like little homemade metal spikes under the tires. Like ninja
How are they
style.
allowing this stuff? I don't understand.
The cops just run away.
Yeah. Oh, I just plugged this on Twitter and Facebook. It's, it just seems like, I mean, the election, it seems to be in Biden's favor at this point. Certainly, according to the mainstream media, it is. So why are they still rioting and doing this stuff, even though their supposed guy, Joe Biden, looks to be the president-elect, or so they claim? And speaking on that, the office of the president-elect is just a completely made-up title. There's no such thing as the office of the president-elect. So let that be known. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, Shrimp and I went to downtown Buffalo to a BLM protest earlier this year, and we just got water thrown at us and threatened. Shrimp got this dude tried to steal Shrimp Sue's phone.
Black
right
Lives
out of
Matter
hand.
doesn't exist anymore. Almost, it's like melded into Antifa almost.
Yeah, I mean, they're both extreme Marxist groups that. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is where's BLM now that the election's over? It's they served their purpose for the Democrats. BLM did, and that was to garner votes for their shill of a candidate, Joe Biden. And that's not to say Trump is completely independent.
What do you think of Proud Boys?
I think it's a natural response to Antifa. I mean, it's, you see one group pop up, you're going to see its opposite and or equal opposite pop up as well. For reaction, there's a reaction. One of the laws of physics, right? So I think it's expected. I certainly think they are less extreme.
Are they a terrorist group, or are they a troublesome group, or you're in favor of them, or you would like to shame them?
Probably none of the above. I mean, I support them being able to gather in a group, but they don't seem violent to me unless they are in situations where they're provoked by Antifa. The left is the one that's initiating the violence. I don't think anybody can deny that, and anybody who is denying that is not on this planet or has their head in the sand. But I think an important question is what happens when the right initiates violence. If
Proud Boys is only going there to fight, obviously, like when they go to DC and stuff. Look who we got on. Yo, look at this comment.
Neighborhood News Studio. This is Addy Ads. I'm reporting from Neighborhood News and Addy Ads channel.
We'll leave it
around
up.
The world. Currently in Atlanta, Georgia, reporting on the Georgia Senate race, presidential election, ballot trafficking, intimidation, carjackings, mall shootings, car explosions, and more. All right here in this wonderful peach state of Georgia. And I have a wonderful sponsor here in the city. And my acquaintances and network is growing within Atlantistan, which I am very grateful for. It's a city rich in cultural history and a cultural hub, particularly for music and hip hop, as it stands today in 2020. It is also one of the most diverse cities in the United States, and one of the ones with the highest population of percentage-wise of Black people as well. GW in the house. Shout out to George Webb, the intrepid and peerless investigative reporter out of Washington, D.C. by way of Oregon. Yes. And Shrimp Sue as well. So here we are, folks. And I just got done talking to Paul Cottrell, which is actually premiering on my channel and on the Neighborhood News Studio as well. And I also just hit 4,000 subscribers. Yeah, 4K. So
nice.
Here we are, folks. I'm making it every day. It's like 10 or 20 more, so that's good. Although I did notice yesterday it went up. It was about to hit 4,000, and then it went down, and that seemed a little fishy to me. But regardless, I hit the 4K mark. Catching up to Mark Kulak, Housatonic. I'm coming after you, man. I just actually subscribed to Housatonic Live on Patreon. Likewise with Shrimp Zoo, George Webb, Harry the Greek, and John O'Laughlin as well, a McDuff channel. And I would encourage people to do the same. You only have to pay $1 for all those guys, except for George and Shrimp or the High Rollers. You can pay a whopping $3 a month for their content as well. So that's something I would implore people to do, as well as support me if you can as well. We're almost completely crowdsourced here in this sphere of independent reporting. independent media publishing, free of Operation Mockingbird, free of the deep state, intelligence agencies, government interference, communist interference, etc. So any support is welcome, and even if you could just give a subscription and that's really all we can ask for is your attention. So, but if you do want to support, please check out those links. But I just fill you in on what I've been doing here, Shrimp, besides. So as I said, I covered the Harrison Deal death Friday before last of a car crash or car explosion. Harrison Deal, of course, was the boyfriend of Governor Kemp's daughter and assistant to Senator Kelly Loeffler. And he died tragically in a car crash that looked a lot more like an explosion. But interesting link to Kelly Loeffler is her husband, current chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. That is no joke. Last name Sprecher or Sprecher, depending on your pronunciation. He's actually from Madison, Wisconsin. So that is interesting. He also went to my alma mater as well, University of Wisconsin. Madison, is first name is Jeffrey Sprecher or Sprecher, which I thought was a very interesting link to geopolitics here in Georgia. As well. Got this map going behind me. Marty Kemp and Amy Argo, I think, is a key link. So we start with Governor Kemp here. I know you can't see it, but let me just explain it. Governor Brian Kemp is married to Marty Kemp. Yes, her name's Marty. And she is sisters with Amy Argo Cowsert, who is the wife of Bill Cowsert, the current Senate Majority Leader in the state of Georgia. And that was a very key connection. I thought that should be duly noted.
So you think that Biden's definitely going to be the president now?
I don't think it's in the bag until inauguration, of course. But I mean, Trump has the 2018 executive order that I think he could try to enforce, and the ballots aren't officially released to the public until the 6th, I believe. There was one other date that Major Prather mentioned as it pertains to a possibility of Trump somehow squeezing it out, but it's just looking like this system is so corrupt that they are looking like they're going to pull off this election steal. It's looking quite more and more likely as time passes.
I heard that Barr got fired by Trump. He's on a firing rampage, like when he was on Apprentice, firing everybody in sight. He doesn't like getting his revenge out.
He might have been asked to step down. You might have been right there, but he's
draining the swamp as he leaves.
It seems to me that he stepped down because because if he would have fired him, I think that would have been.
I think he was fired or pressured to leave.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. He might have allowed.
It seems like Trump fires a ton of people, though. He fires a lot of people.
Yeah, no, he does.
A lot of people that he has hired.
Yeah, with good reason, I think, most of the time, because most of them are just stabbing him in the back. But
Neighborhood News Studio says Barr was fired, I believe. Barr stormed out of the White House. I saw the photo of him leaving, and he was hot.
I did see that photo. I was trying to pull that up from Harry the Greek's Twitter, but it looks like he pulled it. I can't find the photo. I liked it earlier, so maybe I can pull it up. But yeah, it looked like he was... they're saying he looked like he might have been arrested, but I don't buy that. I don't think any. I don't know. I want to see arrest, but if he did fire him, that might have been more of an I don't know. Why would he allow him to step down if or claim that he stepped down if he did fire him and allow him to save face to most of the general public? I'm not really sure why that would be. But regardless, Barr didn't do jack for the last 2 years. He's got CIA written all over him. He was Clinton's handler for Bill Casey, former CIA director, William Casey, who was into teenage boys with swimmers' bodies. Per Henry Vincent's book, The DC Madam, that's how he knows that. That's how I know that. So Barr handled Clinton as his kind of case officer before he took the White House. And that's why he took the White House, Clinton, is because he was awarded the White House by the CIA for his role as governor in Arkansas and the cocaine importation agency actions and processes that went on there. What with the boys on the tracks being found, as they witnessed a drug drop-off, they were swiftly taken care of and found on train tracks. The story was they smoked marijuana to the point where they laid down in front of a train, which is just ludicrous. But there you have it, folks. Bill Barr, CIA through and through, as far as I can tell. And as I said, I just got done talking to Dr. Cottrell. If anybody wants to check that out, that is on my channel and the Neighborhood News Studio channel as well. I implore people to go and check that channel out. And yeah, there you go. Never liked Barr since his father was Epstein's mentor. Yes, his father gave Jeffrey Epstein the teaching job at Dalton, despite the fact, rather, that Epstein had no really credentials to be a teacher. He didn't even have a college degree. It was during that period that I think Epstein got recruited by the Mossad.
Portland Antifa put this up to guillotine for the police, abolish the Portland police.
How about a guillotine for John Brennan? That would make a little more sense. Or Gina Haspel, or just Comey.
That's pretty brazen, right?
Lisa Page.
Guillotine up on top of a huge building.
They're just the police need to be reformed, yes, but they're just pawns. The police and Antifa are pawns.
Well, in New York, the police will do whatever the Democrats say.
Whatever Cuomo says.
Yeah, they'll do whatever Cuomo and de Blasio says. The police do.
Dude, they got freaking mafia written all over them.
The Cuomos?
Cuomo and de Blasio, yeah.
CNN mafia.
I think
mafia be in the mafia because he gets the best press coverage ever. His brother is the lead at CNN.
His press conferences are a freaking joke, where he's putting on the mask, he was showing off his Thanksgiving mask, and I just puked in my mouth a bit. I was like, adults, seriously watch this guy model pumpkin masks on Thanksgiving.
Well, imagine if Trump's family all worked at CNN or they all worked at Fox and they were all covering him all the time. It would be ridiculous, and that's who we got our news from.
Yeah, his brother is a total, goof. He's just a dork.
Well, he had COVID, but he faked the quarantine in his basement. Chris Cuomo. He never really quarantined because he got caught having a fight with the bicyclist in the Hamptons.
None of these people quarantine. Same with I think it was the mayor of Denver, told everyone to stay home and then flew to Arizona right after. Newsom too. He had a huge Thanksgiving meal. I think at a really expensive restaurant that people saw and got pictures of. These people are total shills. They do whatever their bosses tell them, and they're soulless, spineless, and traitorous, and they should be going to the guillotine, not the freaking police. Although some of them probably.
I did a video where I posted a mayor issuing a lockdown stay-at-home order while he was in the Caribbean or something. I think he was in the Barbados on vacation with 10 people, and he gave stay-at-home orders.
Yeah, it's. Oh wait, it looks like George went to the Harrison Deal death site in Pooler. I was trying to tie his death to the Navy aviator that was killed by the Saudi drug runner in Pensacola in December 2019. And if everybody remembers, I think it was Hopsicker who wrote about this in Pensacola. That's where the hijackers for 9/11 train, Muhammad Atta, I think his name was the main guy. After you had the red dot on your forehead walking to the ballot warehouse, I think you gained a lot of respect. Thank you, George. I'm just looking at the comments here. The ME's at Missouri. No, that's MO. Main guy. Main ME still said the guy with no head died of natural causes, though stomach ulcers. If being beheaded wouldn't have played into his death. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, the Clinton whistleblower was found without his head, and the medical examiner who was in Clinton's pocket said the dog ate its skull and all. I actually haven't heard that story, but Emma Jillian also saying that 50 people alone who died in mysterious crashes involved or closely related to the Clintons. Lots of people who investigate the Clintons wind up dead. And we an ode to
or one.
I'm sorry?
How many? I think only one, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, Jenny Moore was found dead. George's ex-partner. She was investigating the Clintons. In a hotel room, she was. I'll actually put. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think it was on OAN. In fact, I know it was.
Can you put it up from your end?
Yeah. Give me a sec here. At One America News.
Oh, is that where it's from?
Dude,
personally, I'm not a very big fan of them. I think they used to be okay, but now they're like outrageous. That's my opinion.
Okay, I just sent you the link there.
I don't really like Fox or CNN.
If you want to play it, you can. Sure. Get that sound on, boy. There you go. We got a 5x. Do you root the audio too? Oh, yeah, there's no sound coming, Shrimp. You got to reroute that audio. So end share screen and then share it again, and it should say share audio.
That if the wrong people found out about the documents she had just obtained, they would kill her. Grits did not know what those documents were, but she does know that the FBI called her August 13th to tell her that her friend was dead. This is the Capitol Heights, Maryland hotel where Moore was found unresponsive by housekeeping. Grits said that she never knew Moore's last name, but that the police called her because she had listed the veteran FBI agent as the next of kin.
On Monday, I was sitting, it was towards the end of the day, and I was sitting at my desk at work, and I looked down, and a lot of messages were coming in on my cell phone. And so I looked at it on Twitter. Someone had messaged me, "Did you know Task Force is dead?"
Task Force was the nickname for Moore, and Grits said that she used it instead of her name to protect her. Grits said that she thought it was all a sick joke, but after...
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Keep playing it, Shrimp. Play the whole thing.
Okay.
Calling around, she confirmed that Task Force had passed, and then the phone rang.
It was a detective from Prince George's County Police Department, really, really nice guy. And he said, "I got your name and number to get her next of kin." And he just said, this poor woman. He goes, suicide is pretty much ruled out. Nothing to indicate suicide. Nothing to indicate a forced entry. Nothing to indicate any kind of physical confrontation.
The initial call was that Moore had suffered a seizure, she said. Robin Gritz was not just any FBI veteran. For 16 years, she was a top agent assigned to high-profile cases such as the Boston Marathon bombing and posted as the FBI's liaison officer to the Defense Intelligence Agency. 6 years ago, she filed a gender discrimination complaint, but instead of addressing her concerns, the FBI put her on unpaid leave and has slow-walked her case. Using her skills, she used Moore's phone number to find 3 of the reporter's relatives and passed on their details to the detective. It was this personal history that formed the bond between the 2 women, as Moore herself was a former California police officer who was targeted by her leadership. TruePundit.com reported that Moore had come to them about the child molestation ring she was investigating with the help of a 26-year-old who said he was passed around the ring in the 1990s.
I said, you need to kind of focus on what you have here that is the most needed and odds that you touch with someone.
Britt said she never knew what Moore was working on, but she did know it was getting serious.
In the middle of doing all this research, she realized she was possibly getting into some pretty dark places. So she had documentation for everything. So she texted me and said, I got to find out who I can get this paperwork to. And if it gets into the wrong hands, someone will kill me. And that was just, I could say that was only about 2 weeks before her death, was when she said, if this gets in the wrong hands.
At one point, she offered to take in Moore at her place in the Midwest, but Moore never followed up on it, she said. Now she is mourning a friend and fellow traveler.
I would describe, and I actually just picked it up, it got a little thing for her. Kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit. That's exactly how I would describe Jenny.
Jen Moore was not just an investigative reporter. She was a former California police officer who Gritz said dedicated her life to exposing.
So that was George Webb's ex-partner, research partner. And that story was from, I think, 2017. Let me double check on that, folks. Yeah, so it's an OAN story. The only one that I could find that reported on it, August of 2018. And if you want to, actually, let me put this link in the chat too. I did a book review of George's book about Task Force, about Jenny Moore, and I'll put that in the chat if anybody wants to check that out. I would highly encourage it. It's going up and up. It's on its way to 1,000 views. But if you want to, do you want to play that next video too? It's from CNN actually. Shrimp Stew, that second link. It's from earlier this year in the beginning of the pandemic when George was investigating the. I'm not even going to say the last name, and you shouldn't either. Shrimp probably, but since it's a CNN video, I'm sure we'll be okay to play. He was investigating somebody.
Send it in the private chat to me.
Okay, I just did. It's the link of the origin of the coronavirus and how it spread so rapidly as it pertains to the NATO games. And
George shouldn't believe that anymore.
He has modified his theory from and that's the thing too, is they took his whiteboard, which was just a working model. It wasn't a definitive conspiracy theory. It was just kind of ideas, and they kind of inferred from that he was saying all this stuff. But if people want to check it out, it's pretty interesting because you could see George on CNN and you could see Donnie O'Sullivan, who's just a total shill. Which is also ludicrous too. Like, why do all these people with funny accents tell us our news? It's just ridiculous. Can we at least get a shill that has the same accent as us? You guys have to get these guys from Australia and Ireland and England and South Africa to tell our news. Like, an American can't notify us of what's going on. Anyways, can you pull that up, Shrimp?
Yeah, send it in the private chat.
Por favor. Yeah, you didn't get it? Here, let me send it again.
No, I didn't get it. There we go.
Oh, you see it now? That's weird. It didn't go through the first time.
Oh, we're gonna play this. All
Are you
right.
going into a nightmare like day after day?
This is Mahia Benassi. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, she and her husband Matt led pretty normal lives working for the US military.
We don't do anything, which is
Just for the record, I don't really believe this, but I mean, there are some people that believe this, so we're gonna play it.
go to work, ride a bicycle.
I don't know if I've
Now
watched
they're
this
at the center
actually,
of
so
an
let me
elaborate
watch this.
conspiracy theory. One of its biggest
me
promoters
watch
is a
this
man
and then I'll
named
see.
George Webb.
This
Oh
goes back to
shoot!
our
What?
story here, which is patient zero,
Oh,
which is
George
Mahia
Webb's on here.
Benassi.
He's a conspiracy theorist who has nearly 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. He falsely claims, without any evidence, that Mahia brought the virus to China during a cycling competition.
Yeah, George Webb used to have 100,000, but now they took his channel off. I believe for this. I'm not sure, but I think for this is the reason they took it off. Addy Ads is in the chat, but not in the video. Just Shrimp Zoo in the video. Shrimp Zoo is in the video only.
Last October.
We are interwoven into his storyline now. He's never gonna give it up.
Webb's accusations are baseless and far-flung.
Benny Benassi, this story has a lot of Benassi in this story.
He even claims an Italian DJ, Benny Benassi, is part of the plot.
He's also Dutch, and he's the first coronavirus victim in Holland.
No, guys, to be honest, this is crazy. So I'm born and raised in Italy.
Have you been diagnosed with the coronavirus?
No, I'm okay. No fever, no nothing. No.
Mahia is in the US Army Reserve, and last October she competed in the Military World Games in Wuhan, China. 6 months later, comments under Webb's YouTube videos about the Benassis have become the stuff of nightmares.
Execute them by firing squad.
What?
We need to be killing these key people. These people will get a bullet to the skull.
It's unreal. And the danger he put us in, unreal.
Okay, hello everyone. This March 20th
The
here.
conspiracy theory has even reached China. Webb has been featured in media controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, which has sought to deflect blame for the coronavirus. Have you been able to get help, protection from law enforcement?
Because they're not direct threats where they say, we're coming to kill the Benassis tonight. There's not a lot that they can actually do. And then they say, go talk to a civil attorney. So we did. For folks like us, it's just too expensive to litigate something like this.
Is this Donnie?
Hi, is this George?
Yes. How you doing, Donnie?
Hi, George. How are you? Tony O'Sullivan here from CNN.
We called Webb. He offered no substantive evidence to support his claims about Mahia Benassi.
Could you talk me through the specific evidence you have that she
This is pretty interesting, I
as you
think.
described, coronavirus patient zero?
Yeah. Well, I have to. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, and then there's a source here that I cannot reveal.
So specifically on Mahia Benassi, how do you know that she has the coronavirus or has antibodies, or how do you know that for sure?
Well, I have a source at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, and she actually works at where I have someone saying that she works at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital, and she tested positive for the coronavirus.
She denies that.
She denies that. Does she deny that she works at the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital?
She denies that she's had the coronavirus, that she has any symptoms of the coronavirus. She and her husband don't have the coronavirus.
The Benassis say YouTube isn't doing enough to stop the spread of conspiracy theories.
When we get the video removed, how quickly do you think that video popped up in other places on YouTube?
No.
And then I had to go after each one of those occurrences.
Imagine having
You just can't
100,000
keep up with it.
followers removed.
A YouTube spokesperson told CNN the company is committed to promoting accurate information about the coronavirus and taking down misinformation when it's flagged by users. YouTube took down some trending comments under Webb's videos after CNN asked about them.
A couple years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare cancer. Dealing with that situation is way easier than trying to deal with this George Webb situation.
It's getting out of hand and it needs to stop because you never know. Somebody might take it so.
Yeah, people should leave them alone, I guess,
parent or
right?
child died of the coronavirus, and then they're going to come to my house think I did this. But there are times that it gets to me. I just, go in my own little place. But we will get through this. We will.
What's up, Guacro? All right, well, Addy Ads really wanted me to play that video about the NATO cyclists possibly spreading COVID because they were in Wuhan earlier than, like, they say it started. They say that it started. Well, they used to say that COVID started in, like, January 1st. But now everybody thinks it started months earlier. So it's possible that it happened in January or November.
I'm back. Thanks, Shrimp.
I think COVID. So I don't know. I guess I discounted that story before. I don't know what George Webb thinks about it now, but I guess it's possible they had COVID. What if they're coming back October, November? Because COVID probably could have started like in the summer. I heard there was satellite footages that like think tanks were looking at where the Wuhan hospitals were packed in like the summer and stuff.
Yeah, and another very, I think, interesting piece of evidence is the fact that the U.S. placed so low in the military games, these sports games that they do, 2019 Military World Games, and I think it was like 32nd or something we placed, which is, the U.S. has the greatest athletes in the history of the world, pretty much. Medal table, here we go. So pull this up. Yeah, so first China, second Russia, third Brazil, coming out of nowhere. The United States of America was 35th, 0 golds, 5 silvers, and 3 silvers and 5 bronzes. 35th in the world.
I think I'm pretty informed on COVID and coronaviruses. Not on every conspiracy theory or every theory about how it originated. I don't think anybody knows for sure patient zero. Is it possible those like people from the NATO war games had it because it was in Wuhan? It's possible because that was people probably had it back then.
Yeah, you were saying it as early as like March of last year, right? Or
I don't know. Nobody knows. Definitely people could have had it a year before they thought.
Yeah, and I do want to say that George no longer believes that Benny B, the DJ, is associated with this. They were brainstorming and using the whiteboard, which they posted. It was on George's channel before they got whacked. And another telling thing too is the fact that she didn't deny that she works at Fort Belvoir or Belvoir.
There's a lot of people, if you ask around in America, in both of like on the East Coast and the West Coast, there's a lot of people that had really bad pneumonia, really bad colds or coughs, and they think that they had it in like October, November, September. So it could have been spreading around for a long time. And we just
No doubt. Yeah, and that, you know, military games could have been the perfect vector to spread that. Especially when you look at all the athletes that got sick on our team and how we placed so low. I think it kind of shows that our athletes were not in prime condition. They weren't at their peak power for those games. And it would make sense that it was because they got COVID, even if some of them didn't know it at the time, why they performed so poorly. But yeah, I agree. I think it could have been as early as summer or spring, depending on, you know, a variety of factors. But as far as accelerating it, you know, obviously that came towards the end of the year and more so the beginning of this year. But yeah, that whole that CNN thing was kind of the thing that set off the George getting whacked off YouTube, or his channel getting nuked. That is to say. So yeah, I just wanted to show people that I think those were two cool connections that really showed George's stuff.
They might have had COVID, but like thousands of other people might have had COVID around that time too in America. Yeah, I seen these studies that there's like they're testing the sewage and they're testing like old cancer patients' blood from like a year ago, and they found it and stuff. And they're finding it like back in September and everything, like really long time ago.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, oh my goodness. There's this other video I wanted to show too. It was actually as it pertains to the Awans, but I don't even know if it looks like the channel might have gotten deleted. Just ridiculous censorship going on now. Paul Cottrell is actually on a 7-week or 7-day suspension or whatever, which I actually got off of last week because of my uploading an interview between Kirsten W. and Stella. Oh yeah, you said your main channel is right.
Yeah, the main channel, Shrimp Zoo, is now on a timeout for like 4 more days.
Yeah,
but they do a dirty game where they don't monetize something for like a month, and then they either do or they don't. But by that time, no one views it. Yeah, there's censorship.
Yeah, and the reason for what video did you get censored? Shrimp.
The CDC director said that there's going to be more deaths a day than 9/11 in Pearl Harbor every day, and he was like, "There's going to be 3,000 deaths a day." And Osterholm, who's like on Biden's COVID panel, said we're going to be in COVID hell. So I did a video called "COVID Hell: 3,000 Deaths a Day," and that's what the CDC director said and what Osterholm said, and I got banned because they said that was like COVID misinformation, and I appealed it and I got denied. But it was like, and I played like the CDC director saying that we're gonna have 3,000 deaths a day for 2 to 3 months, and I just reacted to it, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of deaths if that's right. And then I got banned for it because it was COVID misinformation. I don't know. I just played, maybe because of how I presented it. I played hip hop music in the background probably, and they viewed it as like fear porn or something. I don't know, but that's what the leaders of the world said. So I repeated it and they didn't like it.
It's kind of ridiculous that even if you're regurgitating what freaking CDC says, like they choose that video out of all the ones that you've done to censor you for a week. It just seems like they're trolling you. Like there's so many more videos where you're obviously disagreeing with some of the authorities and they don't choose those. They choose the one where you actually agree. It's just, that's ridiculous. But I did put Entropy chat link in the chat box, folks, if anybody wants to add that or to join that. It's a great way to do super chats because I got demonetized. And I'm actually not allowed to withdraw the money that I did get there. which I think I've only gotten one super chat so far on the entropy stream.
Yeah, YouTube and social media only wants like Mitt Romney Republicans, and then like mainstream all the way to Antifa Democrats. Basically, almost nearly any spectrum of Democrats, except for like in the middle, like Democrats, but like any other spectrum. And then they'll tolerate like centrist, left-leaning Republicans, but
Yeah.
they like to ban a lot of people.
Yeah, if you're not with them, you're against them, type of thing. But I did get one super chat, as I was saying, from BEA27. So shout out to him or her for that. But I actually can't touch that money until it gets to at least $100. So if you want to help out with that, that'd be great. Otherwise, PayPal, GoFundMe, Patreon works as well. But I sent you another clip there, Shrimp. It's only 3 minutes that I think is pretty cool. Just shows George actually being interviewed. It's funny they don't even put his name in the
former Bernie Sanders
title.
Profile suit. Once again, when America's Emerald Robinson has more from Washington.
All right, we'll check this out.
Brothers will return to court this week on charges of bank.
Is he being interviewed on this news network, OAN?
Federal government is leaving off with the charges in the case of the former Democratic IT employees with a civil action lawsuit. And he's going after others connected to the DNC in a total of 3 lawsuits where he says it's all about the discovery process.
Discovery. We get to go to discovery. That's the case. Is really to discover documents all along the way.
George Webb is the man behind the lawsuits, and he says it's all about revealing information that has been withheld. He says he can do this through the discovery process part of a civil case that will provide access to information that many Americans would like to see.
Don't have to interview any of the witnesses, just the metadata. The server for the Wands, the server for Hillary and Huma, and then finally the FBI.
Webb, who is a former Bernie Sanders supporter and donor, is currently representing about 900 other Democrat donors and volunteers in the class action lawsuits, who he says wants answers regarding recent revelations of corruption within their party and the DNC.
Of the first $2,700 of any donation gets swept into the Hillary for America Fund. So all those campaign rallies, all those times we worked on the phone, get people out, send money, all of that is swept to Brooklyn in Hillary for America.
Swept to HFA through a deal made between former chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as revealed by former interim chair Donna Brazile. Webb's
Well, there you go, folks. Looks like got muted there a sec, but we lose you, Shrimp. Discovery was the worst Star Trek show.
I'm here.
This is George is reporting on the Awan brothers case, which I thought was cool because they actually at least said his name and showed his face. They didn't even put his name in the title, which I thought was kind of funny. But there's at least one network that was showing some love to George, so that's cool. And I just wanted to show Shrimp that too because I don't think he had seen that before either.
I think also they don't like us because we like question Fauci and stuff. A lot of people don't like him because I think he said masks don't work. You don't need masks. Then he changed his mind. Said basically we're going to be at the point soon where you have to wear a mask or you can't go in the store anywhere or something. There's definitely be a national mask mandate. But he went from saying no mask to national mask mandate in less than a year. And a lot of people don't like the vaccine or they think he's evil. So there's a lot of people that don't trust Fauci.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend who said he would take the vaccine, and I was respectful, but I was like, dang, man, I hope you don't.
I'll take it after I see like millions of people take it, and I think that it's safe.
Do you think you need it, Shrimp?
Well, I don't. The UK says that you shouldn't take it if you have like a lot of allergies, and I have a lot of allergies. But then the CDC in America says it's fine. You can take it. 2 people in the UK had like near anaphylactic reactions from it and had to use EpiPens and be hospitalized after taking it.
I believe it.
And so now the UK recommends not to take it if you have allergies.
I have a follower, and supporter, and she's actually a big supporter of George. I'm trying to find her name is Connie Bevan, and she tweeted recently, and I retweeted her. I want to see if I can find it. She said today's the so this is on the 13th, so a few days ago. Today's December 13th, the anniversary of my first grandson's death. He died 6 days after being given 8 vaccinations, which included oral polio, all at the same time. I believe the vaccinations killed him. The fact that he was given 8 vaccines was not mentioned in the autopsy.
Will you not take the COVID vaccine in like a year or two? If you,
I don't think I've ever taken a flu vaccine. Maybe I used to, but at some point, I can't remember if I ever did or not, but my parents were largely against it, to my memory. They never thought we needed it. But you know, the required ones, which I think was MMR, and then I got like the last one I got, I think, was a hepatitis B vaccine, or it was like phase 2 of hepatitis vaccine, which is the last one I got. But I just sent you the link to that tweet if you want to pull it up there. You can zoom in too. But just to show people, just an anecdotal evidence of someone who has had a very, very bad experience with vaccines. Obviously, losing a child is a tragedy. And I think that would open anyone up to the idea that vaccines are not all that good. And on top of that, I actually watched the documentary Vax, which goes into this as well, and talks about anecdotal evidence of particularly boys, I think, getting autistic after receiving vaccinations when they're young, which shills will say that it is not true at all, when in fact it is true. It's kind of like this fraud situation where you have the experts saying that there's no fraud. Meanwhile, you have all these people bringing forth anecdotes of fraud. Likewise, you got the experts saying that there is no evidence of autism being caused by vaccines. Meanwhile, you have all these anecdotes of parents saying that that's exactly what happened to their children. So, quite the same situation, I think, in those two instances. But yeah, let's call it pretty soon here, Shrimp. Looks like we're having some connection issues a bit. I certainly am. I'm gonna have to.
All right, I removed Addy because he was having connection issues. And my camera was not focusing, but now it will. All right, we'll Google that and we'll see where that leads. It says a team of researchers inside Pfizer made a startling find in 2015. The company's blockbuster rheumatoid arthritis therapy, Enbrel, a powerful anti-inflammatory drug, appeared to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's by 64%. That's from the Washington Post. Okay, well, I guess that's not a conspiracy theory. That appears to be real. But did they hide it? It says the drug Enbrel could potentially safely prevent and treat and slow progression of Alzheimer's disease. Said the document, a PowerPoint slide that was prepared for review by an internal Pfizer committee in February 2018. And the company told the Washington Post that it decided during the 3 years of internal reviews that Enbrel did not show promise for Alzheimer's, prevention because the drug does not directly reach brain tissue. So they didn't think it would work for some reason. And they opted against publication of its data because of the doubts about the results. They did share the data privately with one prominent scientist. That was it. I don't know. There's a ton to read about it. So people are saying that they hid it, but they're saying that they didn't hide it. I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. It looks like they came up with a potential cure for Alzheimer's. See if you can buy Enbrel online. How about that? Let's see if you can buy this stuff, if it's available. It looks like it's available to buy. I don't know if you could buy it online. I don't know what it looks like, but it looks like there's definitely people buying it. Enbrel 50 milligram injection. This is something you have to get injected. Oh, it's expensive. It's like $650 an inject for 2 injections. I don't know. I don't know about the Pfizer scam or whatever, but definitely like and subscribe to Shrimp Zoo and Addy Ads. Thank you for joining.